8-Bit Bros. That's number 8. Then bit. Then bros. One word. I strongly encourage you to stay tuned for that. And if you want, they also have a Facebook page and a much better live show. Anyway, 8-Bit Bros, 8 p.m., Ironic Radio Network.
It's 8 o'clock, and you know what that means.
What up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Bros. It is the late edition. We have a jam-packed show. There's so much to talk about tonight, and probably won't get to it all, but with that being said, this is not a kid-friendly show. Adult language, adult content. Do the right thing, people. Put your kids in the closet.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Oh, how do you like that, buddy? How's that feel?
Oh, God.
How's that feel?
I'm listening to 8-Bit Bros.
Yeah, late edition. Ren told you. That's it, late edition. One show this week. Yep, sometimes that happens. It's 8-Bit Bros. Thursday.
Yeah, traditionally, it's not the late show.
Well, traditionally, it's not, yeah. Center box gets a square. Yep, that's Ren. To the left.
What up, people?
What boy? To the right, 856 miles south, the one and only Thumping Loud. It's
As I try and get my camera to refocus. It's like when I lean back from my microphone, it's good. When I lean up on the microphone, I'm blurry.
Yeah, it's fucking weird how shit works sometimes.
Yeah, you're sitting low tonight. It's weird. Ren's in his normal, I'm higher than everybody position.
Yeah, maybe I might take my chip.
Ren's like, what? Why did you say something before the show?
We got to remember the tenant. Yeah, we still have the tenant here. She
Yeah,
used...
but the only reason you still have the tenant is because you still refuse to build the office.
Well, it was, we're going back, and no, we're not going back.
Yeah,
and
but
now
now it's September of 21.
Yeah, I know.
You've known that for months now. We've all been caught up on the information. It's still the reason you have the tenants because you haven't built the office yet. And they're not moving back in. So you've got the office.
Yeah, there's no way. Speaking of not going back to the offices, to all our New Jersey listeners here, welcome to Lockdown Part 2.
You can say that for the strengthening of the lockdown in California, the return to the lockdown in most countries in Europe.
Yep,
also based on the next president's suggestion, everybody should really get ready for 4 to 6 weeks of lockdown nationally.
Yeah.
But that won't happen until September 3rd, January 20th.
What?
He's got to be it.
He's got no authority to do it until he becomes
we know
president
it won't happen until he's inaugurated, but it's one of those things. Go ahead and prep yourself, get ready to see one, if we survive the vaccination without becoming a zombie plague epidemic.
Exactly.
Done by your current president and that administration going ahead and getting these vaccines out here that they're going to get the military to inject you with.
Wait a second now. Wait, before you go along that, Dr. Fauci came out and said if the FDA puts their seal of approval on Pfizer's He'll take it immediately.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, so who knows?
He's just trying to save his job right now.
He should have been fired fucking months ago. Why do you think?
What, when he listened to people that told him, don't let this happen?
Well, you know, you can argue at 6 Tuesday, follow the science, and his science has been wrong 60% of the time. That's a big problem. And everybody looks up and respects this guy who's just a blatant fucking fool. He's a fool.
Well, I mean,
you don't need to wear a mask. It's okay. You just go, stay home. You don't need to wear a mask. And then 3 weeks later, oh God, but you got to have masks.
Yeah, and the validation for the statement was based on?
Well, we know our conspiracy theorists, which I thoroughly believe is, don't buy a mask so we can make sure all of our frontline workers have masks. And you don't need an N95. You'll never need that mask. Just make sure you buy one from the housefrau down the block who's got a fucking sewing machine and wants to charge you $9 for a mask.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you had several of those, right?
Yeah, I got a shitload of them. They're useless.
Actually, right now the science seems to be to the order of silk mask.
Oh, well, okay, silk. I could see that.
And the science behind why silk, at least as an outer section of the mask, why it's a better fabric to have.
Well, we know cotton's the worst. Cotton and polyester are the worst.
Way too breathable.
Yes.
Well,
also causes you to break out in pimples, which is why every fucking skincare product stock is through the roof during this pandemic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, go look at Estee Lauder. It's only up like 120 points since the fucking beginning of the pandemic.
Pandemic. I mean, I wear a mask for 5 hours a day every day, so. It was just like the news of pimples is kind of like, okay.
Yeah, well, that's bad for your skin. It's bad for your skin to wear a mask for that many hours.
I mean, it's bad for your skin to wear clothes. It's bad for your hair to wear hats. It's like, yeah, covering is not necessarily good for the human body, but
the hat thing's never been proven to be true. It's like wearing a ponytail is going to make you lose your hair quicker because you're putting stress on your hair. Come on.
Now we're tying it up to certain genetic dispositions, but
yeah, well, that's what it comes down to is genetics.
It's always been. It's your mother's father. That's where you get hereditarily your hair growth pattern.
Yes.
Well, in that case, I am in good shape.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not, obviously. My mother's father was bald by the time he was 25.
And if you're wondering, no, I didn't shave my head today.
Yeah, because you're a pussy.
I kind of forgot, and then I had to go out.
Nope. I'm down with Squirrely Shirley. Right. You're a pussy.
Say what you want to say. I completely forgot.
She straight up called you on it, and your mom was like, "Don't dare him."
Yeah. When I got to the kid's house today, Juice looked at me and goes, "Oh, thank God you didn't shave your head." And I was like, "Oh shit, I completely forgot. I even put that out there."
Oh,
so
yeah.
now it's like,
I did the nostalgic look. Do it because I remember a web that was dark on the top and light on the sides. So I threw that picture out there with the. Here you go. Do it. It was a full head of hair too.
Yeah.
I was like, go for it. Fucking don't be bashful.
I'm gonna close that out. Need that open either. Yeah.
So you're shaving your head?
I'm seriously thinking about just doing it for shits and giggles. Just fucking
That's
shave
what
it
he
off.
put it out there as. Shits and giggles, thinking about shaving my head. And
Okay.
I responded first because right after he did it, I was like, do it. What a gift.
I think I have a hair appointment in like a week. I think it's a week. I just might have Jason fucking. Go ahead, man. Zoop. Take it all off.
Why would you pay to have
I was gonna say I don't understand why you pay somebody to do that, but
because it's Jason. Why not? I mean, why not pay him? Fuck it.
yeah, but I still don't understand why you would.
What's it gonna charge me? A whole fucking $10? I mean, to cut my hair is only like $28 anyway. I can do it myself.
He won't shave your head.
I'm thinking about it, just like I said, for shits
I'm
and
just
giggles.
saying, Jason
he
probably won't do
won't shave your head. He won't color your hair.
My wheelie thing's not working.
Like, remember all the things he won't do because he has an opinion of your hair that he upholds? Remember that. So, I don't know why you give him $10 just to walk out of there with a haircut, like your normal haircut. Like, he'll run the clippers back there for you for a while and keep you turned away from the mirror, and he'll touch your head with like a comb, making you think it's something, but he's not going to
Right.
shave your head.
Intention, yeah. That's funny. I could see that happening too. I want that open. Thank you. So, thoughts on the elections?
I
as it
mean,
stands?
as it stands currently, I am not shocked that there are lawsuits of various amounts being thrown out everywhere. I'm also not surprised by the forever Trumpers that are posting 330,000 have been found to have been changed in this state from Trump to Biden. And the fact that out of all the elections that we've had throughout all of the time America has had elections, we are saying that this particular election itself has the most widespread voter fraud that has ever existed.
Okay.
I kind of think it's funny.
Yeah.
And even funnier now is the fact that the longer this has gone on, and we're only, what'd you say, 9 days into it? We're election day number 9.
Yeah, day 9.
So to see that less and less people are going, well, there's a chance Trump won it. And more people are of the mindset, which I also find more to the status quo of things. Everybody who won their elections doesn't want to challenge the election process. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And so every Republican that has been reelected, Mitch McConnell and all of them, that are back in their jobs at their normal position and have secured their reelection in all these various positions, they're not going to stand for and with this, because if there's voter fraud, then does that mean they were affected by it? Does that mean that it invalidates their candidacy? This is one of those things where the only person coughing fraud is somebody who lost at this point, seemingly.
Right.
I'm not in all of these places. I'm not to say that this is an actual factual, but seemingly the person who lost is the only person who is saying that the entire election process is a sham, even though he touted that he got the most votes that any incumbent president has ever gotten before, ever, which is, congratulations. It just happened to be 3 million less than your opponent.
Or maybe 4, who knows?
Yeah, maybe 4. So for me to watch it continue to drag on, it's kind of sad. The high ground and the morality and the directive that he had the ability to save face, it seems to be waning. Like, now he's going to look like an insane goofball.
Well,
There's a lot of people thinking that he's gonna bounce out of the White House and go to, what is it, Mar-a-Lago or something along those lines.
Margot, yeah.
And just bail out there, and that's the end.
I don't know. I see him not being the only person that's probably going to face criminal charges outside of the presidency. I mean, the previous presidents have been able to avoid it. Like Bush, everybody knew that there were several Asian countries that were looking to take Bush to task on what happened with Iraq.
Yeah.
As far as war crimes were concerned and stuff like that. And we're not looking at war crimes with Trump, but we're looking at a bunch of other stuff. And I think it's enough lenient like smaller stuff, that I think they'll go after him. I think they'll actually try and process on Donald Trump. Like I do see him being a definite like in legal battles.
Who's the president that stepped down due to legal trouble? Was it it wasn't Roosevelt? It was
No, the guy on the phone might be able to answer that. Man, purely responsible for us still being around and on the air, Mr. Jim Mandrinos.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
New Media Comedy
Jimmy.
House. What up,
How's it
Jim?
going, Jim? Long time.
I miss you guys.
Can they go to the studio without having to wear a mask through the podcast? Because I did listen to a podcast today that kind of called the people who are doing podcasts with masks a bunch of pansies.
No, we don't have to wear masks. We got to wear gloves.
We have to wear gloves.
That's even worse.
Okay, well,
Wear gloves. That's the state mandate.
okay, well, the gloves thing, I could
Unless-
probably get over the gloves thing, but at least they're not having you sit there in that room with a mask on, because to do the double down would be just an absolute nightmare.
Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of craziness with the state of New Jersey. I mean, I think Brandon Webboy know a little bit. I've been trying to get the state to let us fully open the doors for a while, and Governor Murphy is so sweet in the limitations that he's putting on us.
He's such a fucking idiot. I swear to God.
Yeah.
The most hilarious thing I found for your state is, so we had the mass exodus out of California with Joe Rogan and other comedians go into Texas, and then we had other comedians decide to go to the New York, New Jersey area. One, famously Joey Diaz, has went to New Jersey, and right after Joey went to Jersey, y'all legalized weed. They
True
were
that.
like, we got to take care of this guy and keep him here,
And right, it's Nixon.
because there's nobody such
Nixon.
a mass
A long time ago.
There's nobody that's got such.
I'd
mass
like to hear. I'd
consumption
like
as
to
Diaz.
hear. I'd like to hear Jim's take on this, because Jim's been very passionate about politics in general
I hate
and
for some-
our current president. So I'm curious to hear your take on this whole thing.
You know, it's he just lost voter turnout. That's the problem. Too many young people came and voted, and they voted him out.
That is true.
In order for him to win the court battles, and this is assuming two things that aren't yet confirmed. Georgia's going through a recount, but Georgia has around the 16,000 vote lead for Biden. Arizona has around the 12,000 vote lead for Biden. If that's the case, he won by 300. He won 306 electoral votes. They'd have to overturn Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, which are three Hail Mary passes that just can't happen. And then the biggest part of that, and probably the most fun part of that, is without any real proof of widespread voter corruption and voter fraud. And I'm not saying there's no voter fraud, because there's voter fraud in every election, but it goes down to hundreds of votes.
Well,
Let's
there
just
was
say
there were specifically
Wait,
there were specifically 11 that were brought to the attention in a certain county where they were able to prove that 2 had been changed, but the other 9 hadn't been.
yeah.
Well, I also heard that, and I don't remember what state it was, but not a lot. I don't want to say it's a lot. I don't know the exact number, but there were ballots that came in unsigned that
Mhm.
somebody just put a signature on. Well, just sign it and count it. Just sign it, count it. Also, we
And
know.
when those are found, those will be thrown out. There's legal challenges.
Yeah.
Literally, there has been a legal challenge in every presidential election
Yeah.
in our lifetime.
Well, what about Nevada?
In-
What about Nevada? Vegas, Nevada. They shut off their fucking signature identification system. They scan all the votes
Mhm.
in the computer, and they have a 2-stage double authenticity signature that matches the voter book. They've digitized the voter book. They shut that system
Mhm.
off, so none of the votes were technically validated against the signatures. I mean, I know.
Right.
I know it's only what
But-
1.2 million votes. I mean, who the fuck lives in?
And here's also what I'm going to say. The county where that specific thing happened, and that's a big Republican talking point right now. That county went with a different system of voter validation,
Yeah.
so that's why they turned it off.
Oh, okay.
You,
Okay. I did not know that.
you can argue a lot of things, and I do think that when this is over, you're going to find voter fraud on both sides. By the way, it's not
Sure.
just going to be voter fraud for Biden. There's going to be a lot of pro-Trump voter fraud too.
Absolutely.
But when you do it, it's going to come down to 2,000 or 3,000 votes
yeah.
in each state, and
Right.
it's not enough to turn around any of the states, let alone 3 of the states.
Yeah. No. You're absolutely right. I mean, we know what the guy from Vermont, the mailman, got caught trying to go to Canada with a trunk full of fucking ballots.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know,
Uh,
there's
Puerto
always going to be an
A box of Biden or a trunk of Trumps.
Exactly. And Puerto Rico, right? What'd they find? 180 boxes, 222,000 votes fucking stuffed away somewhere. But who gives a shit? But Puerto Rico don't matter. They have no electoral votes. So it doesn't.
But here's the other thing. All of those votes, you know, the 2 places that you mentioned were overwhelmingly Biden votes.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
voter fraud in the Trump camp on that side.
Right. Exactly.
So,
I mean, I know I
you
was.
know,
Go ahead. I don't want-
when they talk about the bigger cases of voter fraud, you know, the mailman that is throwing away chunks of ballots and things of that nature,
Right.
they're all happening in very pro-Trump areas where they're fucking with the mail-in ballots, which are traditionally or were thought to have been the purview of the Biden campaign.
Mhm.
There's not been any proven voter fraud where votes were added for Biden via mail or that votes were taken away from Trump
Right.
via live in person. And that's where the issue comes. At this point, basically, he's just dragging his heels to see what his best play is for the post White House Trump.
Sure.
That's all he's doing. He's buying time to figure that shit out.
And I think that's one of the key reasons why, and we talked about this before, you know, it all happened. I think that's one of the key reasons why they pushed in another judge in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
At least that was Trump's thinking. But I really like the Senate House Committee when they fucking pressured her. If this election comes to the courts, will you stay out of it? And she said, yes. So it backfired on
Yep.
him. Big time.
Well, it's backfired in almost every legal precedent that's been put forward too, because he's like, I want this stuff looked at, and he's asked for some of the smallest little stuff in each of these places, and they're like, we're not even going to review this.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, look-
a lot of what they've thrown at the court system already has just been told no.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, look,
two
I
of the things that are massive for him is, number one, his lawyers, when a judge asks them directly, are you asserting that there's major voter fraud, they have to say no, because if they say yes, they could lose their legal license.
That's right.
They need evidence in order to say yes. So none of the lawyers that he's hiring are willing to risk their law licenses for him. The bigger issue, I think, is this. I know that Webboy and I share a passion for betting and laying money on certain things.
Yes.
I'm willing to bet Biden will be the 47th president of the United States. There's a way of interpreting presidential pardons that says that no one can be their own judge. And by giving yourself a pardon, you're essentially you're judging yourself, so it cannot happen. So my guess is that he is going to resign prior to Biden swearing in. Pence will be sworn in just long enough to give him a pardon.
Oh, that would be an interesting little.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's an M. Night right there at the end of it, because they are talking about his political allies getting ready for this pardon bus that's about to drive through.
Jim, that's fucking brilliant. I'll take you up on that just because it's that brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to lay 25 on that one.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Shake.
Wait, so that makes Kamala the 48th?
Possibly.
I mean,
Oh,
if we go into conspiracy theories and throwing some bets around,
We could have 3 presidents inside of fucking 6 months.
We have 3 presidents inside of 10 days.
yeah,
Well, that's true Oh yeah, that is
Well, Webby is a firm believer that
the Fifth Amendment, baby.
what is it? The 25th Amendment will be
Revoked immediately. Day 10.
Yeah, but here,
will
all
be
right,
invoked,
Webb.
and Kamala will become president.
But Webb,
Yeah.
did you hear about the twist
I-
on that?
That's going to happen. It will be. What I do think is going to happen is about midway through the second year, Biden will resign for health reasons.
Oh yeah, because
I think he'll last long enough to get them up to and in good shape for the midterm elections.
the dementia drugs only work for like 4 or 5 weeks, and we know he started taking that shit like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I mean, look, the guy couldn't have a coherent speech all fucking election process, all campaign process long. The final presidential debate, this guy was fucking eloquent and picture perfect. Where did that come from?
He
never
also
stopped.
ran. He also sprinted out for his
Yeah,
acceptance
yeah.
speech. But yeah, but
I-
they're saying we know for a fact
that could be
that
the Viagra.
Trump did 5 a day for 5 days appearances, rallies.
That'll take a
In
toll
that
on
final week, you can't tell me that he wasn't
Yeah.
like snorting lines between each one of these.
you. Ambient, baby.
Because there's no way either of these guys, there's no way either of these 70-plus-year-old men are out here. I mean, Jim, you're a comedian. If somebody come up to you today and was like, all right, we're going on tour. You're going to have 5 shows a day in these 5 different cities, and we're going to do that for the next week. You'd be like, holy
Be tired as hell, but
shit.
you muster it up.
Yeah, well,
Look,
you'd pull it, but there'd be some assistance with these 70-year-olds.
I will say this. They've got the best of medical care. They've got the best of people accompanying them. They everything they have is top notch. You know,
COVID.
I know 16 people who walked into the hospital with COVID and never walked out. Trump walks in and he's walking out 2 days later like fucking Eva Perón on the balcony.
And he
You
is
know-
and he is one of the most at-risk categories too because of health and weight and age and
Yeah.
like he fit all the parameters of a dead man walking in there with COVID.
Oh yeah, the point I'm making though is you cannot, and you know I've been around it a little bit when I did some speech writing for a lot of Republicans in my lifetime. Dear God, the help they get, the help all of them get, you know, is just fucking amazing.
Mm,
You know,
Oh, there's no
I
no
think
doubt.
I think the thing I'm most glad about Biden winning is that I really don't have to hear Tony's mouth about Trump for the next 4 years. That to me,
Yeah, you do
made
because
everything
Trump's
worth
going
it.
on the
Win,
campaign.
boys.
Yeah, you do. Trump's
what
going on the
I did.
campaign trail the moment that he is ousted on the 20th. He's going on a 4-year campaign trail where he's going to continue to have rallies up until 2024 when he runs again.
yeah.
I will guarantee you this: Trump will not run again. He'll go on the campaign trail for his kids who will run. But Trump is going to start a nice news network and be an influencer from this point forward.
I
Guaranteed.
think Kush gets
I
the
can see-
nod,
I
not
can
one of
see
his
it.
kids.
I can see it now. Coming up next on the MAGA Network, Mr. Jim Mendrinos joins us to talk about the political climate.
He'll be fired at 5:30 in the morning every week. Not Jim, we're not taking your calls no more. Excuse me, Mr. Mendrinos, can you call us back? Look,
Oh God!
I played sometimes a bit of a role on Facebook to stir the pot. I personally think, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, Donald J. Trump is an asshole. He's a complete fucking asshole. I think his business sense and foreign policy, the things he did for this country, were amazing. I don't think Biden can do the same. The country, you got to remember now, this country wanted a non-politician in office.
At the time.
And
Right.
when you're 4 years old, you want cookies for dinner.
Well,
Hey.
That
they
doesn't
have
mean
they
that
have completely
bad.
reversed course on that and have went right back to a politician's politician.
Exactly. Well, what could be a 53-year political run? You know, am I happy that Biden is in? No, I personally think he was not the best choice for the Democratic ticket. And I personally believe Obama, when he finally decided to back Biden, made a few phone calls and pushed him to be the delegate of
Oh yeah,
the
because the Democratic Party did not want Bernie. Like
no,
they
it,
did not want Bernie up there. It was too radical of an idea. It disrupted the foundation of the inner circle of the Democratic
He was
Party.
too socialist.
Yes.
I mean,
Too
Bernie
socialist
was
for what they wanted.
Secretary of Labor.
yeah, exactly, and that's it's so. And he's already put him right in there in a fucking high ass position. Instead of being a senator, now he's a secretary of labor or some shit like that. Um, I am been sitting here for the last couple of days reading word for word, page for page, Biden's plans, his tax plan, his corona plan, all this shit, trying to figure out, is this guy really going to be good for this country? His tax plan is a fucking joke. It's disgusting. He lied through his teeth through the entire fucking campaign. We're not going to raise taxes. You're going to raise taxes as soon as you cut everything Trump did. Taxes are going up. End of story. But we're not going to do it to the middle class. Bull fucking.
Except for people that made a certain amount of money.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
know,
actually,
if
actually,
you're a poor person, you paid fucking more money.
I mean, if you made less than $110,000, you got a tax break under Trump. So anybody who makes,
No,
yeah,
if you under $80,000, you
80.
got fucking sodomized by Trump.
Well, no, you get $2,000 less tax. That's a fact.
No, not a fact.
That's a
Because
fact.
of the service that they cut off.
Well,
You're just viewing the tax rate, but there's other things
yeah,
that
there's other.
factor
Yes,
into
yes,
the poverty rate.
yes, absolutely. And now, again,
If
under
you made less than $8,000 when Trump was president, your actual tax burden may have gone down, but your poverty increased
yes,
ridiculously for Trump.
yes, that is
All Biden is doing is a correction so that the poorest among us can live a little better.
that is true. But it's going to be. You're not getting this.
That's-
Well, he's going
I-
to.
I-
He's going
I
to
will
tax.
crunch the numbers.
Yeah,
Tell
he-
me that is so fucking. It
Come
will
on.
make your head spin.
We all know he's going to give the tax breaks to the low income. Everybody's going to get this. Everybody's getting the same tax breaks across the board, but it benefits the low income the most. The middle class gets the tax break also, but your tax liability is going to be 25%, or your tax break will be 25%, whereas the poor it's 50%.
what
And
is
if
your
you make-
middle income number?
It's what 110 to 400,000 is no, it's less than that. It's 80 to 399,000 under Biden's plan. That's the middle class.
No, the middle class starts at 115.
Is it 115?
It goes to 450.
To 450, not 399. Because isn't he
450.
whacking everybody who makes more than 400K?
Yeah, the immediate
you-
impact is going to be
start
towards
going up to
400K.
No, you're not considered wealthy until you get 450.
And let me tell you, that's not wealthy. I'm sorry, but that's not wealthy.
Look, there are some things that Biden's going to do that people should scream. Reinstituting the inheritance tax so that parents can't pass the house down to their kids.
I
That
am-
fucking sucks, and going to do that.
Yeah,
You know?
but good thing about that is it's going to be what, 1 million and over instead of the
Mhm.
2.5 million. I mean, yeah, that sucks, especially in a situation for people, like me. I have two parents who are over 70 now, and one, the breadwinner of the family who's pretty much just on life support at this point. And I could see, bad things happening to both at that point. And there's a substantial amount of money there that's going to get fucking taxed the shit out of.
The working class prior to Corona was doing okay under Trump, and the wealthy were doing exponentially better.
Yeah,
The
sure.
poor were doing exponentially worse.
Well, you always got to remember, if you have the money to invest it, you're going to make it.
Now, what's going to happen under Biden is that the poor will do exponentially better for a while. The working class will remain the same, and the rich will be doing exponentially worse.
Yeah.
And this isn't science or magic. It's the correction we have every time we vote out a Republican Congress and vote in a Democratic Congress.
That
We
is true.
pendulum back and forth. The easiest way to fucking fix this is for Congress to go, hey, let's create a living wage that is guaranteed under the law, and let's create a tax system that's fair across the board.
Mm.
But, you know, to say it's just Biden that's going to corrupt everything is fucking disingenuous.
That is
Look,
true.
Here's what I'm going to say. I don't want to hear shit from any Republican, right? And I grew up a lifelong Republican, and you guys know that.
Yep.
I want to hear shit from any Republican when you stop talking about a second stimulus and one on a fucking break for the election. You can sit on a bag of fucking AIDS-infected dicks. As far as I'm concerned, you have no more moral standing. There are people legitimately suffering, okay? My community, the comedy community, most artists, most comedians, their day jobs are things like waiters and busboys and maitre d's, okay? A second comedy club in New York City closed this afternoon.
Which one?
And now they were closing. You're decimating an entire generation of artists, and Republicans don't want to send another $1,200 to the people that need it most. Fuck them. You can't talk to me about taxes or how good Trump was when he's not taking this time on the way. If I were Trump, if I wanted to really make a good thing with the American people, hey, I'm on my way out, so I'm giving everyone a $10,000 stimulus. Just fucking, do something insanely, magnanimous.
So I got a question. Do you think
Yeah.
Do you think it was the Republicans' fault, or the fact that they just didn't want fucking Nancy Pelosi to pay off more friends, or give a fucking museum that's not even allowed to be open another $50 million? I mean, I read some of the second stimulus plan, and I even laughed at
Did
some
you
of
read the shit the Republicans threw in the first stimulus plan?
Yeah.
Did you read the sheer depth and breadth of the corporate tax breaks that were in the first
Of
plan?
course, yes, of course. You're always going to get. You're always going to get the corporate kickbacks. 'Cause those are the people who are paying for your fucking your political campaigns.
So here's what I'm going to say. I want to hear shit about putting $5 million in the museum's pocket when they put $25 billion in fucking Chase's pocket.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Checkmate.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right. Look,
that money was
do
allocated.
both sides stuff it with things that help their constituents, and they're able to go, hey, look at what I did for you. Yeah, they both do. Here's
Earmarks.
what I'm saying, though.
Beautiful thing.
There's a toll. We came to a point of American crisis, and there is a toll on real human lives. There's 250,000 people dead. There's over 1 million people infected.
Yeah.
There is literally 30 to 40% of small businesses, by most estimations, will not be there in 2021.
No, not at all.
It is a reduction of 30% in the marketplace. People are hurting.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta help them.
There's no doubt about that. What do you think of what I would like to think is Biden's new stimulus package of let's just lock down the country and send everybody home for 6 weeks?
He already said he's not going to do that. That was his corona advisor saying this is what I would do if I were in charge. He's not in charge. Biden already said he's not doing that. Now, I would, if what his advisor said actually happened, I'll be honest with you, I'm all for it. If you want to close down for 6 weeks and pay everybody a living wage for 6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks. And that's only if you can't work from home.
Right. I'm all for it.
If you're working from home, you continue to fucking work. But if you're the UPS driver, well, that's a bad analogy because they're essential workers. I don't know. If you're if you're the one who sells beads at the sewing shop, you got to go home, close shop. Yeah. And get paid. The question there becomes, is it coming? Right. I mean, Biden said, well, we got plenty of money. We're just going to borrow it. Okay. I like that one. We're just going to borrow it. We have a surplus of money we're going to borrow. How do you have a surplus of money if you're borrowing it?
We have always had surplus of money.
Right, yeah.
Because money is a construct that is
print it.
somewhat invented.
Yeah, we just print money.
So there's always a surplus. We have not been on a gold standard since 1960. I forget the exact year, but we haven't been on a gold or silver standard.
Somewhere between 63 and 66.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Silver went out of the window in 39, and now we're a bank.
Money's like time. You
Yes.
know, somewhere along the line, somebody once said, it's Tuesday about 4:30, and then it fucking stuck from there. Somebody somewhere decides what $1 is worth, and it's worth it. Look, I got no problem with rich people wanting to get richer. There are some rich people that have worked their fucking asses off and deserve every penny they get. Here's what needs to happen. The government needs to protect the people that are working their asses off. It needs to help the people that can't provide for themselves. And I think you do that more with education and training than you do with a handout. That's just my opinion. And then it needs to weed out the corruption. And we've not had in our life, because we're all around the same age. I'm probably a little bit older than you guys. We're all near the same age. We haven't in our lifetime had a government that's willing to do any of that shit.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's the one thing I've always bitched about. When can we get a fucking government that cares about the people? And not play the fucking party.
I've been very vocal about my opinion on that I'm a firm believer as of this point in time in this country's history that the two-party system's broken.
Yeah,
Until you can bring in a third party that's strong.
That's partially our fault though. Like our civic responsibility, we've waned more and more on our civic responsibility of controlling our government because for the people, by the people, and we bitch about them not being for us, but then these people get reelected, and it can't just be purely on the fact that, oh, well, they got reelected. Like, people are still putting them in position, and our civic responsibility is not being handled by all of the people where education need be necessary.
Yeah.
Which is tell people about their job. Your job as an American citizen is to evaluate these candidates that are running for these positions and to elect through due process.
I don't disagree with anything you just said there, but when you're mailed a ballot like Webby, Jim, yourself, and the only category that has alternate parties associated to it is your presidential candidate.
Yep.
There are no other.
We had down ballot
libertarians.
We had down ballot libertarians, so
we did not have down ballot libertarians at all. We were basically told you have Republican and Democrat for all of these categories. There is no outside party.
Yeah, I
think any other category.
I think we had one.
There's a multi-party system in almost all the rest of the world, and just a two-party system where we are.
Yeah.
We made elections too expensive on the state and local level to cultivate a growth of a young party.
Right.
And
we need to reverse course on that.
Here's the easiest way to fix it. And it's the easiest fix in the world.
Right.
You cannot take a campaign contribution from someone who cannot vote for you. So everybody in America can send in money for a president. Everybody in New York can send in for a senator or a governor. You have to live in the district that elects, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in order to pay for her.
Right.
A corporation can't vote, neither can a union, neither can a PAC.
Right.
He said
if you start to make it that you have to be able to vote for the person in order to contribute to them, you solve every problem of the bloated costs of the election.
Yep.
You know, I don't want to hear about Citizens United. I want, if you can't vote, you can't contribute. Period.
Right.
Wasn't that the premise of the donation to the presidential election fund on your tax returns? That would cover. Right, that was supposed to cover the cost for
But here's the problem.
if you spent
There-
X amount of dollars on your campaign, you got to take money out of that fund.
Let's just say you're a Republican in Staten Island, Tony. I'm just
Right.
guessing, not saying you are, but let's just say you are.
Okay.
And you check the box for them to take that $3 in
Right.
your tax return. It goes to the party to distribute.
Right.
It doesn't go to the state to distribute. It goes to the national party to distribute.
Right.
You know where that $3 is going right now? It's going to Georgia. It's going to Georgia
Oh yeah.
to fund those 2 Senate seats. Why the fuck is my money going to Georgia? I'm not voting for those guys.
No, but somebody's got to pay to.
Georgia,
Yeah.
what do they want?
You know, someone's got to pay for that recount, or not even a recount, a recheck. Because you know,
or
and
the
I- and I'm not
litigation in general. Somebody's
Oh,
got to
no,
pay
no,
for
no,
the
no, no,
litigation.
no. What you,
Litigation.
no,
I'm
and-
saying that $3 is going to the Georgia Senate election.
right.
Because that's where the Republicans need the money the most. And what I'm saying is, why are my New York and New Jersey dollars going down to fund an election
Right.
down in Georgia when I got no business?
Well, I would
in that
say
election?
that that's a
Shit
classic.
would go-
I would say that's a classic taxation without representation because your money that you were taxed on is being used to pay for somebody who is not representing you.
No, that's not tax. It's a contribution. It's
Well,
You
if it's coming out of your taxed income, it's still part of your taxation.
yeah, it comes out of the IRS's pocket and
Yeah.
gets put into the
Well, it's
national.
coming out of
I get-
your
I get what-
pocket
I get what you're saying.
as
Well,
part of
technically-
your taxes and then
No.
being redistributed
let's-
in other means. It's
government does not make money. We make money, and the government takes it from us and allocates it.
right.
We make the money. We earn it. So every time somebody says the government's spending money, no, the government's not spending their money. Government's spending your money, my
Yeah.
money.
Right. That's exactly correct. And Thump, the $3, if you choose to check yes, it's not like it gets added to the bottom line of your tax return. It doesn't affect your taxes in any way. It comes out of the IRS surplus from everybody who owed taxes. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I used
so my
to
$3 becomes
become a
not my
voting
$3
member.
at that point. It becomes somebody else's $3 that I'm just like at that
You-
point. It was never really part of mine. It's actually IRS money. It was never mine. What I'm saying is, do you hear what you just said and how dumb those words actually sound? I understand. I understand what you're trying to tell me about how it works. I'm trying to
Yeah.
tell you that philosophy is bullshit, and somebody
Okay,
should
you're right.
smack you for saying something like that to back it and be
I'd
like, "Well, you
rather
need to
them take
validate
the
that moment."
$2
And it's
take
like,
off
no,
my taxes.
no, you need to talk about how stupid that is. He
It's only-
personally had tax money taken from him and sent to Georgia. That is taxation without representation. That is literally what it
It's
is
not-
because he's not represented in Georgia in any way, shape, or form, but his money is being used to fund that.
Right. Look, the
Yeah,
premise here is
and here's the other that I would say about this. When you really look at it, and I refuse to become a voting member of any union that gives political contributions. So over the years, when the Writers Guild and I have to work and I have to be a member of the union, I basically say, here's my union dues. I will adhere to the rules of the union. I will not be a voting member. And I am a member in protest because I don't believe that any entity should make a political decision on behalf of its members. If you have 1 million members in your union, that's 1 million people that should be making an individual political statement as opposed to one group political statement.
Right.
I know I'm in the minority of that belief, but that's always been my belief.
It's actually becoming a more
Same
common
tax
trend
money.
across the board that people are liking to see that idea anyway, that representation should be of the people and not of these mass groups. I was just listening to somebody the other day talk about the fact that, so what you're telling me is that after this election, 51% of the people get to rule the other 49% of the people for 4 years, and they just got to suck it up until they get to put their power person in position, and then that 51% of people get to rule over the other 49% of people. Like, just the idea of it as far as concept is getting wore a little thin. the idea of even actually electing a president at this point is kind of becoming a little odd to look at, given no real power, no real presence, and is essentially just an ideological figurehead.
Well, it's more than an ideological figurehead. You can point to, and I'll disagree with this all day long with Tony. And you know what? It's fine that we disagree with it. But, you can point to the ways that Trump harmed our standing overseas, worldwide, and militarily. It's more than just a figurehead. A president is a representation of our democracy. He represents what the values of the American system are. And that's why it's so important to elect someone who has a moral compass.
Yeah, we didn't get
My
that.
hate
I agree with you.
had nothing to do with taxes. It had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that I can't elect someone who's a habitual liar. If I wanted to do that, I'd have elected members of my family
You're right.
to Congress.
Right. Yeah, I would have wrote my own.
It's like, again, I hear the argument all the time. I like Trump because he's just like us. Well, you know what? He's president. Not. He's supposed to be fucking better than us.
Yeah, he's nowhere near the American people.
I was gonna say, how many of his base are actually like global billionaires? But
if he didn't go off the deep
Yeah.
end, he definitely would have won re-election. There's no doubt about that. But
I think he shot himself in the foot immediately off of invalidating mail-in ballots. I think the reason that Biden got the momentous turnout was because he was like, "This is the way we're doing it. Go for it." And Trump was like, "Fuck that way, people. Don't do that." And he might have cut his nose off on that.
I think he also
The
lost the populace
minimization
on how he handled COVID because of how
Yeah.
long it's COVID for not telling people that this was going to be a long-term thing, and it's going to last a year, if not longer, was disingenuous and misled the country, where he lost a lot of people who felt he lied to them.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
Even though he got more votes this time than he got last time,
but that's just because everyone, for lack of put a 90s term out there, rocked the vote.
Yes, very true.
Oh, very good. Rock the vote. Yeah.
Everyone went out and voted this time. This for this first time in any of our lifetime, or our parents' lifetime, or their parents' lifetime, the most ballots for a election
ever
were cast.
Yes.
Ever. Any election.
Here's that part. It's still only 70% of the people that were eligible to vote.
That's right. There's 245 million eligible voters for the age of 18.
I think a big problem with that is that we're never going to get 100%, because that would just be like, it'd be foolish to say that. But a lot of people don't vote because they feel their vote doesn't matter, because it's not the popular vote that drives the electoral vote.
That's true.
The electoral vote is what drives who becomes president. Some states, yes, they follow their popular vote. Some states don't. Because it's not the popular vote who elects a president, most people are like, why am I going to waste my time with this? I don't care.
Yeah.
Another problem with the electoral process in our country.
How'd you fill out your ballot? Just the president or every spot thump?
Me, I filled out every single checkbox.
I filled out every
and I did not
single...
go straight down the line, and I did not vote all Republican or all Democrat. There is third parties in there.
Yeah. I voted a spread ticket in certain decisions that were made on like real low stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I voted oppositions so that when they got together, hopefully that it would be this one and this one. Maybe I'd win on both sides, and I'd put competition in. So to keep the discussion going. But in my state, or in my county, my judge selection, there were unopposed all Democrats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So it was 8 justices put into position that are all Democrats.
Right.
all of my school, all the school board and like chosen freeholders and all that in my area were
Can't say
run
that.
unopposed.
Not allowed to say freeholder.
Congressional districts are
Yeah.
opposed.
Freeholder's been
Well,
outlawed.
I'm sorry, on my ballot it said chosen freeholder.
Ooh, jeez, it's good. Murphy would be pissed. You don't want that term used anymore. It's
Yeah,
derogatory,
well,
Well, then they should
my
change
ballot
the
must have
term
been
on the
printed
document.
before that.
right? They should have because it's derogatory. If you're a freeholder, that means you own land and slaves.
You know, I think that's where only 70% of the vote came from because a lot of people believe it just doesn't matter.
How many? And
Yep.
Jim, this is directed towards you also. How many people do you think just vote for the president and turn their ballot in?
Oh, I think
I
that's,
think a better question is how many people just vote the front side of the card and don't vote on the questions.
Well,
Referendums.
or people just vote straight down the line for a party.
well, I mean, if
Which-
you're party aligned, then that's what you do. I mean,
But
I would venture to say that.
it's not about left and right. It's about right and wrong.
Well, this
I'm
is
sorry,
true.
but if I'm voting in the New York mayor election and De Blasio's running, I don't care if there's a chipmunk running against him. I'm voting for the chipmunk.
Yeah, I would write Kermit the Frog.
Now, so personal questions. Like, I'm an unregistered voter. Like, I'm registered to vote, but I'm unaffiliated.
Independent.
You can't say independent because that's a party.
Oh, okay.
There is an independent party. You're unaffiliated.
Right, non-declared.
So I'm unaffiliated. I'm non-declared. I don't declare a party. I do that specifically so I can either A, have the choice to vote in any minor election or caucus or whatever you want to call it, or I don't. And I don't want to be badgered by the phone calls and all that, so I've never ever declared a party in my entire life.
We didn't get the phone calls this year. We got thousands of.
I got plenty of text messages.
Oh, thousands of text messages.
Ooh, this is my moment to
Yeah.
shine.
Go ahead.
So Jim, like you said, you have written for Republicans for a year and a day.
Thump, you got to raise your
Are
hand.
you a registered Republican, or are you?
I was a lifelong Republican up until 2016. The day Trump won the New York State nomination for presidency, I resigned my New York State Republican Party votership and switched to a non-declared voter, non-declared party, just simply because it no longer represented my values. I'm what you would, if you were looking to pigeonhole me, best way to say it is old-fashioned Rockefeller Republican. Don't tax me, keep the military strong, and I don't give a shit what you do. Be gay, be straight, be happy, be sad. That's fucking on you. But just, keep the country strong and don't tax me. So that's always been how I voted. And then 2016, when this madman took office, I was there like, gotta go. 'Cause
Now, would you now that he's out of office, would you realign yourself, or is it going to take another 4 years for you to?
It's going to take me seeing what the values of the party are, because when you have people saying, "Well, Biden didn't win anything yet," all right, well, you know what? You're just shilling for the madman, and as long as the country keeps responding like a woman who's been in an abusive relationship, as long as Republicans keep, he's not all bad. As long as that bullshit's happening, there's no way I'm going back to any party. I've always believed that you should belong to a party so that you can affect a change from within. Work for the values that you see fit, which is what I've always done my entire life. I've worked phone banks. I've been an election a counter. I've been a ballot counter on a couple of occasions, and I've been a Republican supervisor for a ballot counting on a couple of occasions.
My grandmother was a ballot.
My whole life I've been politically active, but it's just ridiculous what the country's turned into.
Yeah, right. Ren, I want you to know that unaffiliated voters, okay, which what states are open to that, New Jersey being one of them, There's only 9 fucking states. That's it. 9 where you can be an unaffiliated voter and still cast a vote in a primary or mayoral race or
Primary
You know,
or
Well, I
caucus
mean,
or any
I'm
of that.
only speaking from the state that I live in. I
Ju-
mean,
I'm
where
just-
I've
I-
lived my whole life.
my point was, I thought you lived in Pennsylvania for a while.
Yeah, I did, but
My point there was,
I wasn't because I was in college.
right.
I still carried my parents' address, so I was technically still registered in New Jersey.
I just wanted you to know, New Jersey is one of 9 states that allows open affiliators to vote.
Which your position, your ability to carry that position in the country is very limited as far as the national base goes.
Right. Now, see, I'm from New York, and the teachings in New York, like when I was a kid, I remember they had the auditorium set up. Well, a couple days before the vote, and as a kid, you would learn the voting process, and they let you, go cast a fake vote. But the teachings were, you have to figure out if you're a Democrat or a Republican and choose, and that's the way you vote. That's how I was taught. So, of course, when I registered, I had no choice, and I didn't believe anything of the Democrats, and I believed nothing of the fucking Republicans, but I didn't want to be an independent because I wanted to be able to cast a vote, so you chose one. Now, I chose Democratic. I've changed over to Republican. I switched back to Democratic. Now I switched back to Republican. Now I'm independent.
I was fortunate enough to grow up in an area and a time to where Ross Perot was a thing.
Fucking love that man. Voted for him twice.
That was before I was allowed to vote, but I was able to experience that influence pre making a party decision or making a vote to see a viable third option as an idea for me growing up was like, oh, wait, so it's not just these two people?
He was the first person from an independent party to make a serious run.
It's a
He got
great
12% of the popular vote. First time around, Ross Perot. So, go ahead, Jim.
And in 1982, I'm dating myself. As a 17-year-old, I started working on Staten Island for Guy Molinari, which you're probably really familiar with, Tony.
It's Susan's cousin, by the way.
Susan's his daughter, yeah. Guy taught me pretty much everything that I know about politics. And we were getting set for mayoral race, and he came by my desk because it was going to be my first time voting. And he literally dropped off every candidate's position papers in the mayoral race.
Nice.
And he said, you can vote for whoever you want, but you should read and you should see what they actually believe in and what they're willing to put on paper. And to me, that was a lesson that stuck with me. What are your positions? What are your official positions? What are you willing to put out there and swear to? What are you willing to sign your name to? Don't just say it in a speech, but put it down where I can research it now on the internet and find your position papers. So I've always read people's position papers. Hell, I read Trump's position papers for this election, knowing full well that I wasn't going to vote for him, but I still read it because I've been trained to do that.
Civic responsibility is to learn about the candidates and vote based on the knowledge you gain on who supports your position. It's your responsibility not just to see a guy who represents a party and go, oh, I'm voting for that guy, but to actually find out who these people are. And this is all the way down to your city council members. And I think that's something that's missing from the current climate is now it's just don't worry about anything else. Remember, you're a Republican. Remember, we're Democrats. Family-based things that are like, no, we only align this way.
And I remember, Guy Molinari used to have a phrase, and I love the phrase, it's not about voting left or right, it's about voting right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always stuck with me.
There's a Staten Island ferry named after him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you nobody. I don't even know if I can pronounce his real first name. Guy was a nickname.
Yeah.
Ulissimo?
No, Gigato, Gentato, or something like that. Yeah, it's family, believe it or not. In some way, shape, or form, the Molinaris are related to my mother's side of the family. Don't know how, but I know it's in our fucking ancestry family tree. Along with Branch Rickey, I'm related to Branch Rickey.
Well, as my ex-father-in-law would call him, that rat bastard. Um, he took the Dodgers out of Brooklyn. That rat
Yes,
bastard.
yeah. I know. I know. I try not to tell a lot of the old timers that
Yeah.
that's in my bloodline somewhere.
I do got to run in a minute, but I do want to point out, if I'm not mistaken, this is your show number 396,
Yes.
which means from four shows from now, this is going to be number 400. You guys need to do something special for that show.
Yeah. We did something special for 200, and we did something special for 300 too, didn't we? I think so.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a late long show. We'll have to get Thump to take a day off if he can, and we'll have to front his pay that day, so he still gets paid. We'll give him a stimulus check.
All
Jim,
right, guys.
I mean, you got a pretty demanding dollar amount to hit there if you're going to be stimulating my check.
Jim, before you go, a lot of shit you've been doing. There's a lot of things going on that you've been trying to do there with New Media Comedy. Let the listeners know what the hell's going on.
Sure. If you go to allmediatv.com, that is a brand spanking new OTT platform. It like Netflix and Hulu. It's a new channel, and it's filled with all new media content. There's over 100 hours of stuff you can watch, and there's a free 7-day trial. And if you like what you're seeing, it's just $5 a month. So allmediatv.com, that's the big one. We have a comedy festival that's coming up in December. It's the New York City Underground Comedy Festival. That'll be 7 days of incredible fun. And then also go on to comedytherapy.com, because I don't know if you've known this, but New York's heading for a second lockdown.
Yeah.
The governor's not opening the comedy clubs anytime soon. So we are in December launching a full-time online comedy club via Zoom, so that we can hopefully start getting comics back to work and, dare I say it, create some revenue for them, because they could desperately need it. So those are the big things that we're doing, as well as fighting the governor on how to film stuff. And, we keep the other stuff open. Tonight at midnight, there's a new video by N&M, which will go on our Instagram page. So New Media Comedy, Instagram.com/New Media Comedy. Go there, see it. It's a very funny sketch with Amanda playing Ivanka Trump. You don't want to miss that. And otherwise, it's just, we're trying to keep busy. We're trying to keep the doors open and figure out a way. We have a community of 200 artists that we work with, and we're trying to keep the doors open, keep art alive, and on a very real basis, try and keep them alive.
That's key right there. Key words.
Yeah.
All right, Jim. It's always a pleasure. You know that. Now you got me thinking about 400. Okay. We'll have to talk about that. That might be a studio thing.
Yep.
Return
Guys, try
to the
and be
studio.
safe, okay?
Yes, be good. Stay safe yourself there, sir. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Bye.
Jim Andrinos in the house tonight. Oh, go check it out. All Media TV. If you're going to watch anything, be sure to watch the Comedy Legacy series with Jim Andrinos. I'm actually a subscriber. It's pretty good. Content is good there. There's a lot of stuff. It's not just the boys that we all have come to love. There's a lot of content. Yeah.
No, he said the words there at the end of that you needed to hear. There are 200 plus that are actively involved. This is from their film crews to like the whole way around. I follow a lot of these various different artists that they have on a lot of the social media, and you get all the behind the scenes stuff there to see the people who are actually putting this wonderful stuff together.
Yeah, hey, you can even fucking watch all the episodes of Gutting the Sacred Cow are on there too. Which I have to.
Robertson, Mr.
Yep, all Robert's content is there too.
No, he's in chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I have. All right. So you had raised your hand before, and I wanted to get that in there while Jim was there, but
Oh,
it,
well, it
it
was just about the voter
well,
registration pre-election and, our civic duty as far as the mass of text messages and everything else that people were seeing. You weren't getting the phone calls, you were getting the text messages. Hi, I'm Anita from such and such, representing this group or that group. Um, for everybody who didn't know, and this is even more hilarious because of the Republican that just got exposed for not using his fake account.
oh, wasn't he was fired, right?
I'm guessing. I don't know. I didn't follow up on exactly how the story went down. All I know is that he posted on a very specifically white guy looking page that he was a black gay
Oh,
male in
I'm not.
personally that nothing was ever done for him.
I'm thinking different person. Sorry.
But yeah, so there was a trend on that was rather hilarious. Like you just started to see that. But I was privy to be a representative of the NAACP pre-election.
That's
Um,
right.
I was issued a list of names and numbers of what the NAACP determined were my fellow African Americans um, that I needed to contact and make sure that they understood the urgency of the black vote in America, especially at this time. And
I gotta say, I'm.
in my household, we're same as Jim's household. It's a white male here. Y'all can clearly see I'm not lying about who I am. And I have an African American black female as my mate, and she did not receive the letter from the NAACP to reach out to other black voters. So we got a good chuckle out of that, and just really had a lot of fun with laughing at it because of the hilarity of the situation. But at the same time, we also kind of there's a small tear for you know the push for a vote, which seemed to be kind of blind.
Mm, I think it's kind of funny though that you got that letter.
Hey, I'm telling you, I'm using it as my card. It's officially my card. Like I'm calling it. I even told one of my supervisors. I'm like, so do I get to count this? And he's like, yeah. He was like, they wanted you to represent. He was like, they hit you up. It's not like you called. It's not like I was that white lady who pretended to be black that was the leader of the NAACP chapter.
Yeah.
It's because she went to that job to impersonate. Me, on the other hand, I was just sitting at home one day and got a letter. And it was like, you know what, man? We need you to reach out to other black voters and make sure that they understand the severity of this election. And it's like, wait, other who?
Yeah.
Wait,
Right.
are you calling me one of? I was like, I don't know. I've been a Democrat for a long time, but I don't think I've got pigment surgeries. I was like, there's a lot of things that have not taken place for me to get this letter. I was like, my name is very Anglo. I was very taken back by the entire thing when I got the letter, and then when I read it, and I was like, none of this makes any sense. I don't understand how I got on this mailing list. I was like, but since I got the nod, take it and run with it.
Mm,
But yeah, it like I said, a little column A, a little column B on that. But it was you're right. The text messages this year were the big thing. It wasn't the phone calls, it was text messages. Like
I,
I got hit by every group, and it was weird because nobody was going, I'm with this group wanting you to vote for this
oh,
guy.
oh, really?
No, mine were all generic, like open-ended we stand
Oh,
with get out and vote, get out and vote, get out and vote. That's all I got was a bunch of get out and vote, get out and vote, get out and vote. Except
dude,
for
not
when it come to Cal Cunningham and Tom Tillis, which were my senatorial runoff that we were dealing with, and it was a bunch of people going, Cal Cunningham cheated on his wife and confessed to it, right? And that I got a bunch of those text messages.
Oh, dude, mine
But-
were personalized. I'm looking for one right now. I got
Oh no, mine were personalized with my name on it, but they weren't telling me to go vote for a specific person. They were just really
got it.
all telling me to go vote.
I got text messages from Donald Trump Jr. specifically telling me to go vote for his dad.
Eh,
I mean, I got fucking. I saved this couple. Here it is, Mitch McConnell.
well, we know
Nick-
those. We know those are probably coming out of a meal somewhere.
Oh yeah, these are all fucking robo bullshits.
But mine were, "Hi, this is Anita or Charles or Steven."
Yeah, I also got the, hey, make a donation now and we'll match it 4 times. I was looking to see if I still had them. I don't think if I'm going this far, I might have fucking thrown them all out.
Oh, it's one thing I was doing the entire time. Like I said, I can't wait till I run into somebody on the street that has one of the phone numbers that I've blocked,
Yeah, right.
because the amount of numbers that I've blocked from being able to text or call me just this year
Oh yeah.
that are from 336 area code, I can't wait, because one day I'm gonna meet somebody, and I'd almost expect it to be within the next couple of years. I'm gonna meet somebody who's gonna have one of these numbers, and we're gonna be standing there in front of each other, and I'm gonna be like, "Here's my number. Just call me, and I'll save your number." You know, the way you normally transfer numbers for a lot of people nowadays is you're both standing there with your cell phone. You give one person the number, and the other person calls you and goes, "That's me." And I'm waiting on that person that calls my line to go, "Says I can't call you." Like, I'm waiting on that interaction because I have blocked just numbers.
Oh yeah, I blocked just about every one of these. And first I replied stop and then blocked them.
Oh no! See, no. That's part of actually. I found out that that's part of getting into their algorithm is to respond.
Mm.
And the best way to remove yourself from the algorithm is to not respond, block and report as spam, so that you make other network users aware of the number. And then these algorithms will block these numbers almost for you if there's enough reports on fraudulent call or spam calling that go on within your Android system or your Apple system, because I'm sure Apple's got their own report spam concept too. I'm not exactly sure whether they do or don't, but the infrastructure is being put in place for if there's enough reports that the mass majority of people aren't going to have to deal with these calls. It'll just be small segments of the first gotchas
Right.
that if they're smart enough to go, "Hey, all right, report," then less people will have to deal with the abundance of calls. But I also feel that because of these robo numbers like this, with them buying batches of,
Right. If they,
of numbers, that you're going to run into people on the street that you'll have to eventually unblock their phone number again, because it's going to be a person one day that
right.
you want
if
to
you,
get in touch with.
if you text
God,
message,
I miss the days of do not call list.
do not call list never really fucking worked though. That
It always worked for me. I never got half the fucking shit I get now.
really, see, for years I had the fucking when you call a wrong number.
Do you know how many phone calls I get a day that my car warranties run out?
Oh,
and
jeez.
They're extending it for
That just
a
started.
certain amount of time because they couldn't get in touch with me. I get 3 of those at least every day.
I
Yeah, but
love the
that's-
fact that they talk about they couldn't. That this is our final time trying to reach out to
Yeah,
you. We've
we
been
couldn't get in
trying
touch
for.
with
What's like, no shit. I know you've been trying for like 6 months, man. Stop. I keep hanging up on every number that you've got, and I keep trying to tell you to get the hell out of my fucking phone system.
Well, that stopped for a while too because of the pandemic, and then now that everything laxed down, I would say like fucking 4 weeks ago, boom, those calls started coming through over and over again. When you
Okay,
were
so
saying
we can't acknowledge the hand.
no, you have to unacknowledge it.
I noticed that I had to unacknowledge my
Oh.
own hand, but yeah, when you put that up, I can't even click on it and go, hey.
No, I have to be the one to take it back because I'm see raise hand, lower hand.
Yeah, I saw it on my end when I did it, but I was like, well, Can
And
we,
as far
can we
as
give
far
you
as the
permission?
robocalls and the robo texts, you're absolutely correct. If you're getting these text numbers or excuse me, text messages that are coming through and they look like real phone numbers, then you obviously should not, and as Thumb said, do not reply with stop or fuck off or whatever it is you want to text, because then you are being dropped right into a system. You are
Right.
correct.
Yeah, my days of answering these calls and having fun with the people, that time is over now, and I'm on a direct dismiss and delete.
Yeah. But if it's a short code, your best bet is to hit stop or send the word stop, because you really shouldn't block your short codes, because a lot of short codes are based on names, like text Joe to 44044 to vote for me.
Oh, well, what I like is
44044 is a national short code.
what I
It's
like is like when I get a message from Verizon, actually from Verizon, it's in short code.
right. Those are short
But
codes.
then you get the, hey, this is such and such with Verizon. We saw that your account da 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 da, and we want to give you a gift certificate.
Yeah, bullshit.
It's
right.
like, well,
Short-
then you should have probably put that gift certificate in the mail and left it on my doorstep.
Like, I have 100. I don't want to say 100. I have quite a few short codes. 2233333 is Marlboro. When I want to send my little codes in off my cigarette packs, I can short code text them to Marlboro. 223333.
Yeah, but at the same time, that means that some of these short codes are tied to fraudulent businesses.
And short codes can't be tied to fraudulent businesses. You have to apply. And there's a
Yeah, and
process.
the mafia never had a storefront.
Of course.
I mean, come
mean,
on, don't try and rope a dope.
Short codes, stop, man, because you're just misinforming people. Short codes are the real deal. If you get text messages that come from 917-720-3038, yeah, we don't text anybody. I mean, I got a fucking phone call the other day while at a bar, and I answered it because it came up on my phone as Blog Talk Radio. And I'm thinking to myself, well, who's calling fucking Web Boy? I should answer this. So I grabbed my fucking phone. I ran outside as I was at a bar. I hit fucking take the call, and it was like, we understand that your car insurance. And I'm like, dude, you're fucking calling me from a Blog Talk number? Do they know you're doing this? Do they know that you've subscribed to Blog Talk for fucking free and are using their numbers to robocall people?
That's hilarious, though.
Okay, and I still have it here because even with the new fucking shit that your provider gives you, spam protection and all that, even if you're like an unblocked number, it still comes up with a fucking name now.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can't tell you now. I can't tell you the last time I saw an.
You don't anymore. It comes up with a name.
Yeah, I was like, I
Yep.
can't remember the last time I've seen an unrestricted
Yep.
or restricted number pop up. Like, I see the phone number or the business title behind it. Yeah, but with your short codes, what I'm saying though is you can still apply for and
Yeah,
be
but you go-
bullshit.
Right, but you go through a vigorous vetting process.
I've got a lot of questions on how vigorous of that because we haven't put ourselves through the process of getting our own short codes, so we don't know shit.
Yes, we have, and we were denied. I tried that.
Why?
I absolutely tried that. We were denied
Which
because podcasts are not allowed to have them. Period. End of story. Oh, that's the end. Nope, you can't have it. Are you're an online radio show? No, you're not. KISS out of LA? No. Then you can't have a short code. Or you're not Z100? You're what? Your podcast? No.
Okay,
Don't
well, I
even-
believe that that's a current way of thinking, and that at some point that in the near future that'll probably end up changing. So I'm not relegating that to that level of responsibility, but I do believe that fraud is very capable of being performed in that industry, just like it is in any other one. So to say that it's the real deal, that's also misinforming because that just means that that means that there's no dishonesty across the policy at all.
I had a dialing short code with Sprint for quite some time until they got rid of that whole system where you could just fucking, instead of physically punching in my phone number, you could star 7471 and boom, my phone would ring. But then they did away with that shit. They had short calling codes, and that was only with Sprint, I believe. But it worked from any fucking carrier, and then that went away. It cost like $5 a month or some shit to have a short calling code. But yeah, short codes, dude, it's a serious vetting process for that. I have never come across scam ones yet that I'm aware of, and I have a shitload of 40404 Twitter. I've never seen a fake one that I'm aware of. I mean, even shopping places that I opted out of were real. I wasn't getting fucking, oh, here, buy our mask sent to me via text message. I ordered a mask and
I'm going through my SMS business short
Yeah,
codes.
I'll be shocked if you say here's a fake one. Okay, 8787 Sprint. I got a shitload of them. Microsoft 763802.
Okay, I got one for you. 88811.
Do I have that one? 8881. What is that? Who is that? Apple is 81961. I mean, I get short codes from fucking here's your car. Parking lot attendant, short code. That was New Hope. And my fucking dealership does the same thing. I have never received a fake short code. And like I said, I tried to get one and was denied. Sorry, you're not a fucking viable business. 6772 T-Mobile. I've never seen a fake one. And here's Ticketmaster. My bank, 33748.
All right, here's the message. Be your own boss. Click here to start. Click here to see top franchise business you can start in your area. 90835.
That's the first time I've ever heard that because I've never.
I can't even show you because no sooner do they come in, I delete them.
Oh, well, the good thing is there's I delete a lot of the messages that come through that are BS, but there is an SMS businesses block.
Yes.
That stores its own link. Any short code link gets stored into a separate database.
Google is 22000.
And they're also 40404.
Affirm is 24255.
All right, wait a second. I stand corrected. I think I found one here.
Verizon is 27589.
Verizon has a couple different ones, if I'm not mistaken.
UPS is 69877.
I've got a different one for that because mine's on the back end of UPS, not on the customer end of UPS.
Team Rubicon is 36696.
So on that fake short code you got, was there a link to click something?
Yeah, click here.
And I guarantee if you click that website's dead.
I mean, that doesn't matter. I don't click things like that.
No, I'm just saying, because I did find one here. 83516.
Oh, well, I wasn't going to doubt the fact that you would find one. I was
What
kind
did
of
you say
surprised that
Apple was,
you
Web?
totally were wholeheartedly invested in the fact that it couldn't be fraudulent.
It's very hard, trust me. And obviously, when you get caught, they fucking throw you down. I'm looking, Thump, because Ren. I don't remember what.
My Apple one is 50472, and that's for Apple ID verification code.
That's there. They have multiples. What the fuck is it now? I don't know where it was. I didn't sort these. And
Thomas, open enrollment ends soon. 1 minute to compare Obamacare and Trump Care and save thousands.
You signed up for that. I got those too.
Here's one, and the only text I got was
When?
sunflower.
When did I sign up for anything related to either of these industries?
You filled out something and put your phone number in it, and it was sold off to the the Obamacare, affordable health.
Okay, now I don't doubt the fact that my phone number was sold off by some company somewhere, and that this information came in, but this is a fraudulent short code reaching in on me.
No, it's not. If you click on it, it takes you right to the Obama. It should take you, because I got that one too, because I physically not, I don't want to say signed up, but I filled out the process because someone was here discussing whether or not they should dump their health care and move to affordable health care. And no sooner did I fill out the application.
Yes,
And-
cheapinsurance.com. I mean, look, I'm telling you hands down, there's just a ton of bullshit in this fucking thing. Like there's more good ones than there are bad ones. So I'm not going to doubt the fact that it's probably more difficult,
Yeah,
but
dude,
I'm
fuck.
also going to be real about it and just say plain and simple that there's fraud there, and it's not impossible. And based on the type of fraud that I see come in, you're going to start seeing the same stuff across their board too, especially with the more internet access grows, because apparently it was because of our internet tie that they didn't want to support us to begin with.
Right.
Once
So, you know,
once
it's gotta
this
be-
format becomes more mainstream, for lack of a better word, you'll see the ability for people such as us to still get those short codes, or to get those short codes,
Right.
which in turn will also mean opening the door for a continued spread of fraudulent information.
I mean, either that or somebody's paying money because short codes are fucking expensive.
Well, considering that the average robocall center
Right.
employs what? How many?
Oh,
Wh-
thousands, right?
Like thousands to tens of thousands in India alone.
Right.
Call centers are like dominant to the landscape.
I mean, do you know what it costs for a short code? That's one of the reasons why.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look at the amount of money that's being spent into these industries to commit fraud anyway. So
true.
you're
Yeah, yeah.
it spend money to make money is a philosophy that you firmly live by. So
Right.
when
Makes
you
money
start
to make-
arguing about, oh well, these things are so expensive, well, you were willing to get one for WBLZ.
Was contemplating it, yeah,
well,
but
I'm
not
saying,
at
no, you were willing to get one.
right, not at $12,000 a year.
Right. But when you set forth you were willing to propose
Oh.
this investment, you went as far as the application process.
Yes, it's $12,000 a year, $3,000 a quarter, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yes,
So
and then
so
it's 6 cents a fucking SMS message.
you were willing to put that money down up front on that is what I'm saying. These other companies are willing to do this as well because the returns, especially if their scams work on what 5% of the people that they actually reach out to,
Right.
they make that investment plus tons more.
Do toll-free SMS too. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like so.
That's some
When
weak
we're looking at these situations, like we gotta be a little bit more genuine about how we're talking about that, because it is definitely there's ways, and to say that its expense is one thing, and
Well, then these companies who are have been allocated to handle MMS short codes are fucking biting the bullet and just taking money.
right,
Because bandwidth.com, which is one of the major SMS short code companies, I mean, if they're pulling these practices, they're just taking anybody's fucking money. Where, like I said, when I applied, it was a vetting process. Then shame on them. You're just
True.
fucking, but you're fucking everybody else out.
right.
I mean, I wouldn't
Well,
fucking.
that's why I phrased it the way I did with like, yeah, and the mob never owned a storefront.
Well, yeah. The other one is who's the biggie? The big one is I hate to say this because it sounds so funny. It's Trumpia. Trumpia. They're fucking huge. They're like the largest short code repository. And if they're doing the same thing, well then fucking okay. But I mean, you're supposed to sign up for short codes. Okay, you fill out a form and we'll send you text messages. Are you okay with that? Yes, I'm okay with that. Sure, that's why Marlboro sends me. Hey, it's fucking 2 days to the end of the month. Make sure you get your codes in.
Right. I mean, like I said, I've got a fair amount of them over here that are all legitimate. That when I get something from Verizon, it's short code.
Right.
But I've
I mean,
also got something there that looks questionable from Verizon,
yeah, see, that's
the
fucked
short
up.
code. So I know
Fuck.
when somebody hits me up going, "Hi, I'm such and such VZW," it's like, probably not, bud.
Yeah.
Like because I do give more credibility to the short code, but I also know that I've recently, and these are 2019, 2020 messages, that recently I have seen that area has also been routed.
It's fucked up if they're selling these shits out because this wasn't supposed to be that way. Period.
Right.
Period.
Oh, I
It's
mean,
like
I completely agree that,
it pisses me
the
off.
road to hell was paved with good intentions, but
I mean, like I said, I've gone through my phone and I've saved a lot of shit in my phone because I have an archive folder in my text messages. I don't have to throw them out anymore. It's a beautiful thing of having an Android, or Droid. And
well, no, they still call themselves Android.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the process of an Android 11 update now.
Yeah, I have that, and well, I've been playing with that on the Pixel for a while.
Yeah, that's the one I'm taking a new one that just dropped.
Yeah,
Like right now.
Yeah,
I am
that-
finishing the update.
is that 4? Beta 4?
I'll-
Something like that. I can't remember offhand. I was looking to see real quick where the fuck I am on this phone because I don't think I've gotten 11 yet, or maybe I've gotten 11, but I haven't gotten my UI for it yet, which is
let's
really
see. Update on the Google Pixel and the Nexus devices.
offer information. Yeah, this phone's still on 10 because the new UI isn't ready yet. One UI 3.0. But everything else in the background has been done. My kernel version's been up to 5. Everything's good to go. I just waiting for them to push that shit out. By the way, Trumpia, shortcode companies, if you're looking for one, take a look at Trumpia. They're one of the few that allow you to send picture MMSs. So if you're someone out there who is selling product and you want to be able to just send more than a link, Trumpia is definitely the way to go. And we're not affiliated with them. That is a personal recommendation from me.
I am kernel 4.9.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm behind you. I'm like 4.8, waiting on 5. Oh no, 4. Yeah. I'm behind you. 1 kernel.
4.9.223. Also, build number is RP1A.
Oh yeah, I'm still in the queues. QP1. But different phones, so the numbers don't line up. I mean, the kernel versions will always line up, but
yeah.
Like I said, I'm on 10s on this phone. The Pixel is dead right now. I got to recharge it up. I like the interface on it. It's got some fun, sleek, cool little things.
I've liked all the redesigns here lately, like because it's been more aesthetics than anything else that has been kind of what's been going through, like the new Google logo for your Google Mail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's been neat seeing all of that.
True that.
I'll let you sign off. You looked over at the clock.
Yeah, you knew exactly what I was doing. I was making sure so I don't have my little alarms going off here. All right, 8-Bit Bros. We'll be back Tuesday unless the internet gods don't like us or a plane crashes locally or something.
Yeah. Yeah, Tuesday. What a show that was Tuesday.
Yeah, it was great. It was silent. Right. But
I
deadly.
mean, if everybody could have been in Slack, y'all would have enjoyed it because it got to be more and more zeros the longer it went along.
Yeah, I was really hoping J7 would have been here tonight because we could have at least talked about our first impressions of running through. Because I'm sure everybody who's played the game by now has finished their campaign and got their new superpower of Destiny 2.
Yeah, I won't be actually acquiring any of that until I get home this evening.
Yeah,
because I wanted to measure the release of Godfall and the content of DLC for Destiny over a 2-day period so that I could see which one was going to be worthy of my investment.
Gotcha.
Both were going to be the same cost, so it's the
Yeah.
price of the DLC for Destiny or the price of this game for Godfall. And Godfall was supposed to be Swords and Armor Destiny.
Yeah,
and I just don't feel that way about it.
Really?
I don't see any of the social aspect of this compared to what Destiny's social aspect is. I don't see social spaces. I don't see running around other guardians while out doing things. Like I don't see any of that in Godfall. It seems to be very isolated. You're in your own base essentially, and then you go out and you do missions on these line tracks. It doesn't seem as open world as Destiny is, and I just wasn't feeling the process. Like it's not what I thought it was gonna be. Based on, I was real hype before it
Yeah, I
came
know.
out, and then I was like, but I'm gonna watch.
I know it got beaten up on the PS5. I know the reviews came in on that were not very appealing. And of course, so there's a lot of people out there. Oh, it's a grind. Dude, what the fuck? MMO is not a grind.
I'm not worried about the grind. I'm not
Yeah,
worried about the
exactly.
grind part. I'm worried about the content of the game as far as like what I expected it to be. And if you were gonna give me a game that was gonna be Destiny like, I wanted it to be Destiny like. And I feel
Yeah.
like this isn't that. And I was holding the two games up compared to each other, going, do I want to just stay with Destiny or do I want to go with this new game that's like Destiny? And
Doesn't have-
then it was like this new game's not like Destiny, so I guess I'm gonna, and probably I think I've made a decision just to stick with Destiny.
I will say this: since I ran through the campaign, took about 20 hours. 20 hours my time, the way I run things. It was very, very good. But once it's over, there is a shit more to do.
Good.
And the quests that they give you now are not like, here, go do this, and here's a piece of something. They last forever. 8-Bit Bros, Thursday. Yeah, we're out. Peace out. Oh, where did my little thingy go? I need that back. There we go. We out. Late.
Later.